Welcome back to Regular Guys Outdoors. I'm Chris. 2 days after Christmas, I flew out to Phil's for some duck hunting. Our first morning in, the wood ducks were flying well before legal light. And that was a problem because we wanted to make stew that afternoon. The birds were actually landing on the water in front of us. So my idea was, I'll get one on the water and then Phil and I will be able to go for the other ones when they come up. When legal light came, I got the one on the water, and the rest flew the wrong way. A little later, we did have a straggler fly by, and I whiff, and Phil gets him. Phil goes out for the retrieve. So at least we had 2 birds for our stew. Midday we went scouting around the swamp. You can see the ice, and it only got worse from there. Next morning we're out in the swamp waiting for legal light. Here come a pair. I whiff, of course. Here come another pair. That thud was the duck landing on the ice. Listen again. These 2 came in low to the decoys, and when they came up out of the dark shadows, they were right in our face. For my money, the wood duck is as pretty a bird there is.
"25 degrees this morning. A really nice day for a duck hunt. Chris and I went in the swamp. We only saw 8 ducks and we're bringing 2 of them home. A good morning.
All right, day 3. My cameras acted like they were frozen up, so I don't have any footage. They wouldn't work in the swamp. It was about 10-12 degrees. But then when we got in the truck for a while, they turned on, which is odd because they worked the rest of the time when it was 10-12 degrees, but not that day. So I don't know what went wrong that day, or maybe they were just exposed to the cold too long. I don't know, but I don't have any footage from that day. We did manage a duck that day. Phil made a nice long shot on a bird that was crossing. He had a heck of a time getting it with the canoe because the ice was so frozen. He had to walk in front of the canoe, breaking ice over to the bird. So the next morning we go into the swamp and it's frozen over so much we can't get the canoe where we want to go. So we end up just pulling over by some trees, and it worked out great anyway.
You got 2 and we dropped 2 right there. I mean, right.
Wow. Is that a woody?
I don't know what it is. You stacked it. Awesome. We got a little pile over there.
I think you got him.
I know, they're all over the place right there.
So now while we're shooting, I've actually got a hole in my waders and my foot is a little bit wet. The hole's kind of high, so I'm trying to stay up as high as I can out of the water, but I got my foot's a little wet and it's 15 degrees, and so as soon as we're done, it's time to collect these birds. And that was quite an adventure in and of itself. Phil's out on the ice playing hockey with the ducks. As you can see, they literally were kind of piling up in one spot. It was kind of crazy. Next morning, we're getting our stuff together. We go out to a different swamp, and we got skunked. So, walking out of the woods with no ducks. The next morning, we had found a spot that wasn't frozen, so we just walked out in our waders because the canoe wasn't going to do us any good in the rest of the swamp. And I tell you what, we sure got into them that day.
Chris, what a wonderful day in the woods.
That was awesome down there in the swamp. Birds were like mosquitoes out there.
6 woodies, 2 mallards, and a teal. And if we could shoot, we could have killed 2 more mallards, but that's okay. A great day in the woods. The old man and the ducks and grasshopper here. Oh.
The next morning on the way to the airport, we got snow on the ground. I mean, come on. I came to North Carolina not for snow and ice, but man, that Arctic blast had things all kinds of crazy. Hope you enjoyed that video, because I sure enjoyed that trip. Here's Phil and I adventure in Colorado from October, part 1 and 2. Give us a subscribe. We'd appreciate it.